For those who are politically wise, a show about the lives of Christians in Ohio involved with politics. Introducing your host, Reverend Thomas Wise.
Greetings, my fellow patriots, saints, and sinners. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. At the end of the show, there will be a blessing. Don't miss it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Do you pray for a politician? Do you think a politician can be a Christian? Do you think a politician should stand up for Christian principles? Do you think politicians should pray together? Do you want to see more Christians in politics? If you said yes to any of these questions, please join the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network. Find the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network on Facebook. Welcome back to Politically Wise. The opinions and statements on this show belong to those who give them. The rest of the show belongs to Thomas Wise Words, all rights reserved. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Join us and publicly display this motto.
In God we trust. Go to InGodWeTrust.com today. Order your decal and display it proudly.
Let's again write In God We Trust on our buildings, in our classrooms, to combat the anti-God dismantling of our nation.
Say it and display it. In God We Trust. Go to InGodWeTrust.com.
The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. Hello, my listeners. This is Reverend Thomas Wise, and the show is called Politically Wise. I'll have a returning guest. Sir, would you please introduce yourself to my guest again?
I'm Adam Joesfczyk. I'm the Executive Director of Forge Leadership Network.
And what is that, Adam?
Forge Leadership Network, that's a great question, Tom. Forge Leadership Network is a new organization here in Ohio. It serves Ohio and the surrounding Midwest. And Forge's mission is to identify the best and brightest of the next generation and to train, mentor, and connect them to become the next conservative leaders in the public square. So we are going to come alongside and train and then mentor and connect and help launch conservative students who want to make an impact on their world, on their government, engage their culture through business, the cultural arts, education, law, and directly through policy and governance.
What age group of students are these?
Great question. Students ages 16 to 24 can apply for the Forge Leadership Summit, which is our 4.5-day training program that takes place in the middle of July. And your listeners can find all this information out. You can find out about all this information at forgeleadership.org. That's FORGE leadership, forgeleadership.org.
And you've been doing this you've been with them for how long now?
So we started Forge. We started working on building up the infrastructure for Forge Leadership Network at the end of November. So we've been working on it for 8 weeks, and we just had our public. We're very excited. We just had our public launch on this week on Monday, and on Monday was also exciting because it marked the first day that the online registration for the students was available.
So, tell me the variety of students you're looking for.
Yes, we are looking for students who are passionate about government, culture, philosophy, worldview, history, politics, any of that, right? Students who enjoy learning about principles, public policy, practical skills like media interviewing, messaging. How do you develop a message? How do you public speak? How do you debate? Students who have interests along these lines, right? Who have convictions and beliefs about about liberty and about limited government and family values and free enterprise and the things that have made America great, right? These are all, if students listening, their families listening, if they identify with any of those characteristics, their student would really love this program. Because at this program, the 4.5-day program, the students take part in a comprehensive leadership experience where the students come to understand our timeless principles, how those principles come to bear on the issues of the day that they, as this millennial generation, are inheriting, how to speak to those issues of the day. They also learn how public policy impacts different vocations and different leaders in different vocations that they're going to be going into. They also will have an incredible experience to go through a legislative simulation process that we're just very excited about. The legislative simulation will actually be held. The 4.5-day Forge Leadership Summit is hosted at the campus of Ohio Christian University in Circleville. But 2 of those days will be spent actually at the state capitol on the Ohio State House floor, where the students will be mentored by several state legislators while they are debating their bills in committee and actually debating and lobbying each other on the floor of the State House. Finally, the principles, the policy, the process, this legislative process, the students will also learn. They will also learn the practical skills necessary to succeed. Our students are going to experience have an incredible experience with Alliance Defending Freedom is bringing in their international experts on media training. The students are going to learn how to handle interviews, how to craft their message, how to speak better in public, and how to have that dexterity with different messaging. And they're going to learn public speaking. They're going to have speed networking events, and they're going to learn how to grow their networks and these practical skills. So we believe it's a very all-inclusive, comprehensive leadership experience that the kids are just going to have. They're going to enjoy. They're going to have a blast. They're going to come away with phenomenal skills and expertise and development as they go forward.
Are you looking for A students?
A student?
Yeah, grades wise. I mean, do you have
grade wise, yes. That's a great question. No, we are our registration process. If students go to forgeleadership.org, they will see our registration process, and we're looking for a variety of things, right? We are only selecting 50 students this first year, so it is a selective process, but we encourage all students who are interested to apply, and they can go on to forgeleadership.org and click on the summit, and they can easily find a way to register and apply on there. We're looking for a variety of things, right? Their academics come into it for sure. We want top students. We want exceptional students. Also, their references and their experiences, right? Their extracurriculars, what they've been involved with. Have they lived out, their passion for, impacting culture and government? Have they lived that out? So that comes to play as well, in addition to the grades. But absolutely, we're looking for, fervent young minds, right? Students who are really intellectually engaging material and have that hard, work ethic, or that ethic of hard work, I should say. That's one of the components of the process of who we're selecting.
Do you letters of reference? Who would they get a letter of reference from?
Yeah, right. Well, whenever we go through an interview process, we get letters of reference, right, from various colleagues. So the students will have an opportunity to get letters of reference from folks at their school and folks in their community who know them well.
Then, what type of leadership philosophy do you teach them?
So, what type of leadership philosophy do we teach the students?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the start of our leadership philosophy would start with servant leadership, right? As you and I know, as followers of Christ, we know that the world's greatest leaders have served their fellow man and woman, right? So I just finished a great book by Eric Metaxas, who wrote the William Wilberforce biography as well as the Dietrich Bonhoeffer biography. He has one out. It's been, I think, out about a year, called 7 Men and the Secret of Their Greatness. And it accounted the life of little mini biographies on George Washington, William Wilberforce, Eric Liddell, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Jackie Robinson, Pope John Paul II, and Chuck Colson. And the one, overwhelming, uniting thread to all those men were the fact that they were willing to lay down their lives, for their friends, and to put others before them, or to give up their own need to be vindicated. So servant leadership is absolutely a huge part of that. We also want to teach the students how to be principled and effective, right? We want them to be principled and full of integrity, right? Full of integrity, character, and to be principled. We also are going to teach them that can also completely be coupled with strategic and effectiveness when it comes to how they proceed in a winsome manner going forward into their vocations and into this arena of government and politics and culture.
So you're looking for students that are attentive and teachable.
Absolutely.
And faithful.
Absolutely. Teachability is a huge central to humility, right? And yeah, we understand as I learned in my own life, the times when my pride gets in the way, it hurts me in the long run, because when I'm not, if someone struggles to be teachable or have humility, then they miss out on opportunity. So that's an important character quality.
So is there a cost involved with this?
There is. We think it's a great deal. There is a cost for the 2015 Forge Leadership Summit. So for this 4.5-day comprehensive leadership experience, it'll take place July 14th through 18th, and like I said, it's on the campus of Ohio Christian University. So that's Circleville, Ohio, just about 35 minutes south of the capital. It is $395. $395 for students. That includes the whole 4.5 days. That's room, board, meals, and all of the programming and all of the involvement. And that is the early bird registration fee, and that goes until June. At which point, after June, the price bumps to $495 due to logistics there.
Well, is there any way for an old codger like me to be involved?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Yes. So for those of us who are older than 24 years old, we can still participate in the mission and vision of Forge Leadership Network to raise up this generation of principled, effective, thoughtful leaders who are marked by their integrity and character. Yes. So if your listeners go to forgeleadership.org, and they will see several ways they can connect with us and spread the word. That's vitally important, right? That they spread the word, that we get this in front of this awesome opportunity in front of as many students as possible. So they can spread the word. They can connect with us on social media, through email lists, but also through Facebook and Twitter and those ways, and share this with their friends and share this with students that they know and love. The other thing is that, obviously on our site, we are a nonprofit organization, and folks who love our mission and vision can participate financially with us in that mission and vision. And there's ways they will find to do that as well. So yes, and so we're very excited about the fact that this is something that has already drawn great community support, as we've seen from a number of organizations have helped spread the word already, and individuals, and we're looking forward to some schools spreading the word, and so we're very thankful and very excited.
What would the students take away? What would the students take away from this, you think? Well, what do you project? I mean, they go to this great event, and then what happens after that?
So after that, after the 4.5 day, sorry, I just had my Marco Rubio moment. I was grabbing a drink of water there. After the 4.5 day Forge Leadership Summit, the students who really stand out will be asked to join. Students who are really interested in, their interest is in peak, their skills and their desires, to further, learn more and delve deeper. They're going to be invited to join a fellowship where we will actually provide. This is the great goal of Forge Leadership Network is not just the training experience, the 4.5 day training experience, but it's actually year-round mentoring. Students will be actually, they will have exclusive access to year-round mentoring and growth and development opportunities, exclusive events, to hear certain speakers come into town, just for them and to help them with their personal and professional development. So we're really excited about that fact that these students are going to have year-round mentoring. They're going to have growth opportunities, and we will, we're in a unique situation, with our networks between myself and our board of advisors to be able to help these students network into potential jobs and internships in whatever specific aspect of the public square that they want to make an impact in. So we're very excited to be able to generously offer that to the students who are on board.
You mentioned that there's already some sponsoring organizations. What are they?
Yeah, so right now so our host sponsor, we're very glad to have that Ohio Christian University blessed us with allowing us to host the event on their campus. We're going to be using their facilities on their campus. So we're really, really glad to have that partnership. We've got a great location. It's a great campus, and it's only 35-minute drive from the actual state capitol. So we're excited about that. We've also recently been able to announce that Alliance Defending Freedom, an organization that I know is close to my heart for the work that their attorneys do to defend religious freedom. They are on board to do our media training to help the students develop practical skills. So they're one of our partner organizations, and we're really excited. We've got a couple more partner organizations that I'll be able to announce in a couple weeks here. So folks can stay tuned to our website at forgeleadership.org, as well as connect with us on Facebook, which is Forge Leadership Network, facebook.com/ForgeLeadership, and Twitter, which is @ForgeLeadership, and they can sign up for our mailing list on our website as well. They can use any of those avenues in order to see who's going to be announced as new partners as we move forward here.
So you've been with this since the end of November, and you just opened up the doors. How many people have registered already?
We've already had about a dozen students register and start their application process just in the 4 days that we've had our public opening. So we're really excited by that. We know it's indicative of great things to come.
So what has it been like for you in all this? Starting this a leap of faith here.
Absolutely. It's something that my first a few friends and I started. We co-founded Ohio Conservative Review, OhioConservativeReview.com, to try to offer an online platform for conservative writers in Ohio. But so that was entrepreneurial. But this has been my first entrepreneurial venture. So yeah, starting a nonprofit organization and taking that leap of faith is absolutely been just that. But it's been a wonderfully enriching process, and God's taught me and my wife a great deal throughout that process, and I'm blessed to have her supporting this and our team. We've got a phenomenal a great staff. I'm full-time staff, and we've got one part-time staff, Jennifer Reno, who is just phenomenally talented at operations and logistics and planning and programming, and has her master's in educational leadership. So it's just an incredible asset to the Forge team, and really who I think is our MVP. So we've got a phenomenal board of advisors, folks from the marketplace sector, from education sector, from the politics and government sector, as well as those from the legal sector. So we're really excited about the team that we have in place. That's made this whole process really enjoyable for me, just to see kind of one of those things where you have a dream that God puts on your heart and a vision, and we know that this meets a need, right? We know that this meets a need, that there are plenty of students out there with these convictions and passions who just want to be need help connecting and finding a place, a launching pad, so they can go forward and really hit the ground running. So with that, kind of following that and going gung ho, after it, seeking out, wise advisors, and then going after that. And then, God's been opening doors. I just kind of keep going until doors get shut. And so far they haven't been shut. So that's good.
So you're how many students you're looking for? 50?
Yes, we will have 50 students at the inaugural Forge Leadership Summit, which is this July 14th through 18th in Circleville, Ohio.
And then out of that, you're looking to network about half that many.
Not necessarily half that many. That number's that kind of undecided right now. But we'll see how that process goes, and we will. There will be a good number of students who want to stay involved and who will be able to tie into that network and really have that year-round mentoring, growth opportunities, development opportunities, exclusive events, and also help us help them reduce their learning curve career-wise by connecting them with folks who we really believe are quality mentors, right? We want these students to be able to, attach to quality mentors, right? Mentorship has been an incredibly important part of my life, and I know, so many others. I know you value it greatly, and so to have these students be able to look up to folks who they really deserve to look up to, folks who are full of principle and integrity and also effectiveness, as God guides us, hopefully, be able to identify those folks and be able to help push students in the right direction so that they aren't fed to the wolves in the political arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you define effectiveness? How do you see that trait coming out in someone's life?
Gosh, that's a great question. I mean, I think one key to effectiveness is faithfulness, right? Faithfulness in speaking of obedience to keep putting, and perseverance. I guess, obedience and perseverance being what I mean by, faithfulness there of continuing to, do the right thing when it's not popular, even when you don't see short-term results. But effectiveness, being able to strategize and plan, in a way that I was going to say in a way that's effective, but that would be circular. In a way that meets meets a need, right? So we have a lot of folks, I think, in the public square that we see who have wonderful principles, but maybe struggle sometimes to see how those principles or struggle to gain much traction. Sometimes that's just because we're up against a really brutal fight in a lot of these arenas, right? And we're called to faithfulness and obedience. I think other times, there's no substitute for wisdom and wise counsel and strategic insight, especially as we go into in the political arena and legislative battles and stuff. I mean, you've seen a lot of stuff at the state house and congressional level, and there's a learning curve for sure. So we want, I think effectiveness comes from being a good student, and then having having the courage to do the right thing, and having the wisdom to discern, when it's when the time to fight is, and all of that.
So would you say you're looking for someone who can develop a plan and then follow through on their plan on a regular basis?
Absolutely.
Now's the time if you want to sign up for this type of thing. If you, those 2 days, what was those dates in July again?
July 14th through 18th is the Forge Leadership Summit, and students and parents can go to forgeleadership.org, FORGE leadership.org, to learn all about our mission and vision, to meet our staff, to learn about our Forge Leadership Summit, and also to be able to apply for that, register and apply for that Forge Leadership Summit if you're between the ages 16 and 24.
And so also, if you have a heart to sponsor somebody, you could go on that same website and look under the partners page, I believe.
Precisely, exactly. Yes. If someone wants to partner with us in the mission and vision, and participate financially in our mission and vision, we are glad to have them and have great ways that their support will be stewarded, to be invested in the lives of these young people. So, and they can go to the partner tab on forgeleadership.org, or they can just type in forgeleadership.org /partner.
All right, sir. Well, we'll be talking for quite a while now. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up that I have not thought to think of or asked you?
I know, Tom. I think you've done Reverend. I think you've done a fantastic job of covering all bases. We're, we want students to go on there and register and tell their friends. And this is a really unique opportunity and one that we believe will bear much fruit, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. So forgeleadership.org. You can also connect with us on social media, on Facebook, Forge Leadership Network. I'm on Twitter @Forge Leadership, on Instagram @Forge Leadership. So we're on all the social media outlets. So yeah, we look forward to connecting with people. We've got a phone number on our website as well as an email, which is info@forgeleadership.org, and folks are welcome to call or email to ask myself and our staff more questions and more inquiries as they have them. We're happy to help.
So my listeners who are pastors and Sunday school teachers and small group leaders, if you have young people in your church, praise the Lord if you have young people in your church, that you know that you need benefit for some a leadership program like this, send them to this website, talk to them, even the guy that or gal that's in your group that, they're not the A student, but that you see potential. You see God-given potential on them, and that this might be a place for them to be a life-changing event for them. Go to that website. Check that. I'll give that website again, my friend.
ForgeLeadership.org. That's FORGE leadership.org. ForgeLeadership.org.
And let's invest in our future. Let's invest in leadership. Thank you again, my friend, for being on the show with me today. Give your name and title again.
Absolutely. I'm Adam Joesfczyk. I'm the Executive Director of Forge Leadership Network. Thank you so much for having me on. You're welcome. You're truly a man of God. I appreciate knowing you. You're a blessing to me. So thank you again for this time. That is very mutual. Thank you again. Have a wonderful weekend. All right. This is Reverend Thomas Wise, and the show is called Politically Wise. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. Do you pray for a politician? Do you think a politician can be a Christian? Do you think a politician should stand up for Christian principles? Do you think politicians should pray together? Do you want to see more Christians in politics? If you said yes to any of these questions, please join the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network. Find the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network on Facebook. Welcome back to Politically Wise. If you want to email me, you may do so at politically.wise@gmail.com. Please like us on our Facebook page, Politically Wise.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Join us in publicly displaying this model.
In God we trust.
Go to ingodwetrust.com today. Order your decal and display it proudly.
Let's again write "In God We Trust" on our buildings, in our classrooms, to combat the anti-God dismantling of our nation.
Say it and display it. In God We Trust. Go to ingodwetrust.com.
The opinions and statements on this show belong to those who give them. The rest of the show belongs to Thomas Wise Words, all rights reserved. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. Thank you for listening today. If you want to email me, you may do so at politically.wise@gmail.com. Please like us on our Facebook page, Politically Wise. Now, here's your blessing. Blessings based on Psalms chapter 18, verses 21 through 24. Blessed are you when you keep the ways of the Lord. Blessed are you when you do not turn away from God's law. Blessed are you when you are blameless before God. Blessed are you when you choose not to sin. Blessed are you when you keep your hands away from sin.